Hi and welcome to Budget Model Railways. So we're on a slightly different layout now. This is another little project I've been working on, a micro N-gauge layout. In fact, this one is only 11 inches by 2 feet, which is somewhat smaller obviously than the normal N-gauge set track, which would be about 18 inches by about 3 feet. Obviously it's using FlexiTrack. I wanted, in fact, this was an experiment. So this is one of the things where I didn't start with a layout in mind. What I did was started by seeing if I laid a piece of track, this is only 10-inch diameter, so 5-inch radius, could I get locos and rolling stock round it? And then once I discovered I could, then I work out the layout. So it's done using FlexiTrack, and what I did for a former this time was this. So this is an old bit of hardboard I had. I used a plate that was the right diameter, cut round it, sanded it smooth, screwed it down onto the board, and then bent the track round that. The one thing I have found with these micro layouts, once you're using FlexiTrack in small radius, you do need a very gentle, consistent curve. Otherwise things won't run. Having got the track down successfully, I then of course realised that ballasting it was going to be a bit of a pain. So I very gently slid Metcalf tarmac sheet under again, to use as a ballast mat, which was very effective on my last layout, and I think will look just fine on this, my aversion to ballasting. The track plan is almost a copy of the late great Cyril Freezer's, one of his track plans, just with a couple of sidings in the loop. And I've just added a gentle curve because that makes it easier to put transition curves on the FlexiTrack. There's no loop or siding or anything round the back. The track simply just runs round behind. There we go. I'll just show you that. And you can see it's been built on one of these floating shelves. So I can buy these very cheaply from my local tip shop. Now, in fact, it was fractionally too small. And what I did is I had these offcuts from when I shortened some doors. And I added these around 3 sides just to give me a little bit more width and depth. And then the idea for this came because one of the layouts I sold, probably one of the, I didn't mind selling it. It went to a really good home and a great guy for his, I think his nieces or grandkids to play with. But I do miss Market Town. And I also at one time tinkered with an OO layout with lots of buildings that I never finished. So this gave me the opportunity. What I'm liking about N is I can build these and I've got somewhere to put them. In OO, this would be 4 times the size. So 2 foot by 4 foot. And I just don't have the room to keep storing these big layouts. Whereas N-gauge I do. And obviously with the Kato pocket line, and you've got the fabulous little steam loco there that I haven't shown very much. The steam loco is in fact what started my whole N adventures off. Because it was being able to buy this for a very cheap price. When I bought them a few years ago, they were 45 and they're 60 odd now. That's still very reasonable for a smooth running loco and 2 coaches. So that's kind of what started this. But I wanted to go back to a raised town scene. Use the idea of this is being the good siding, and then this is both a platform for a siding for a platform for passenger trains or to shunt goods. And in fact, because I've got this running line here, this is in effect an inglenook. So I can do shunting puzzle on it all day long quite happily. But I needed to be able to get the goods from the low level to the high area, which is why the excellent Metcalf brewery building I'm using. You'll have seen the review video. If you haven't, please watch it. But it was just about tailor-made. And in fact, what I've then done, I've adapted it. I've cut this panel out from here so that I've got a door on the street level. Got myself another ramshackle workshop, which looks great. And then a Metcalf footbridge, just 1 set of steps, which will come from the station building and down. The blue bit of Picard here, like a lot of people at the moment, we're not getting any post. We're getting 1 delivery a week, once every 2 weeks in some cases. So I've got a shed load of models that should have been on this by now. And that is going to be the top of a Metcalf signal box, linking in with the footbridge, giving me then an over-track signal box. You have to be quite imaginative when you don't have much space. The station building is the Metcalfe Setland Carlisle with the end building taken off. I got that cheap second hand. That's the railway cottages. That's the village shop there in the front. Now in the back here, this is a building I bought just because I liked it. It's proving very popular, I know, in Double O as well. That's the Hotel Wednesday. I just couldn't resist that. That's going to look great there. So I bought the half-timbered shops to go with it. They are not an ideal kit for a first Metcalfe kit. I'm sure they're great in Double O. In N, they're really fiddly to make. But they do look really good on there. Down here, I'm going to custom make some cottages. That's just a building to show you. I've got enough leftovers and windows and doors from other Metcalfe kits that I can build a little row of cottages there. So all in all, and the other big thing, which I'm waiting for, Metcalfe are kindly going to send me, but Metcalfe sent it 48-hour tracked so that I had it in time, and good old Royal Mail have so far taken 5 days and no sign of it. This will be the Metcalfe Castle Gatehouse. So this will be quite a medieval sort of town with the road coming in through the Castle Gatehouse. Think of Canterbury or something like that. So I'm really quite pleased. I've not got all the details sorted out. The judderings when I'm moving the tripod. I'm not quite sure what's going to go in that gap yet. As you know, I think one of the biggest obstacles to model railways is over planning. It's working out every single little last detail before you build it, so you never get round to building it. Because the reality is I don't find I can plan every single last detail. This layout started as track on a board. Once I got the track down, and you're limited to what you can do with the track in a small space. It was then, right, what do I do? Well, I need a platform here. How am I going to get to the platform? Well, I don't have much room over the back. Well, of course, if I had a footbridge down, I could put the station somewhere else. Well, I can put the goods shed needs to be here. How do I get higher? And I find one thing then leads to another. I'd like a signal box. Well, I could just put a signal box on a corner, but it would look much more fun going over the track. So I work out how to do that. So I'm not bothered that I haven't got every little detail worked out. They will suggest themselves as I go along. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this. When the post office finally decides to deliver everything, I'm waiting for cobble sheets and all sorts of things. Probably going to put catenary on it so that I can run my pocket line electric locos, give it a slightly less UK feel. You know, I really like my freelance railways. But as I say, 2 foot by 11 inches. So if you want to call it 2 foot by 1 foot. But I can run trains round and I can shunt. It's not a novelty. This isn't one of those layouts somebody's built in a file so that you can watch a train go round. This is an everyday usable layout. I can watch trains go round. I can shunt. There's a few interesting comments saying, how do I cope without fiddle yards? Because I take the train off and on here, like I've ended up doing on my big layout. Got a 3-road fiddle yard over the back, and I usually put trains on the front. We're playing trains, it's hand of God anyway. So does it really matter that you're putting your trains off and on the scenic part of the layout? I don't think so. Construction, I guess I should have commented on. I didn't have as much foam board lying around as I wanted, and I really didn't want to have to keep buying stuff. So this is some old hardboard, came off a furniture unit, just sawn, shaped. You can actually cut it with a Stanley knife. And then the foam board I have got is making the supports to give me the height. And the height of that was all worked off that building to get the floor level right for the door. And once I've done that, then everything else falls into place. I did sit last night and make those steps. It was quite fiddly. I'm going to put a little hut there, and the idea is the permanent way guys, the hut will be up here instead of down here, and they can go up the steps, go and have a warm up and a brew in the signal box. Won't be any trees or hedges on it, it'll all be urban, but after that I probably am going to go back to more of a rural layout. But I'm really enjoying these little end ones, you know, 2 foot by 1 foot. Sorry, I knocked the tripod again. So really not difficult to find room to store it. I've got plenty of wagons and little locos that will run round this. And it's just going to work very well. And they're working at the moment. The weather's abysmal. So actually the shed's quite comfortable, but it's very wet trying to get to it. So it's nice to have some indoor projects. Not sure how much progress we'll get done because I think it'll be at least another week before anything turns up now, which is a bit frustrating. So the next video will probably be an update on my sort of more rural countryside layout that's sitting on my desk. I'll move over there in a minute and remind you what that looks like. But there we go, another project. Hope you're enjoying the videos. So this layout's been a little bit neglected. It is finished by and large, a few little bits. It is probably the nicest thing I've ever built. Still very compact. I'm hoping to get some pictures sent off to Continental Modeler to actually see if I can get it in one of the magazines, which would be a first. And I do need to do an update video on this. So that will probably be the next one, because that really has come along very nicely. And then while I'm on my workbench, at completely other end of the scale, I'm tinkering with 1 1/35. So that's 1 millimetre a foot bigger than O, or 0.7 millimetre, the narrow gauge. And that's to run on normal 00 rolling stock. I'm tinkering with a diesel shunter body as well. They're both made of card. That's going to sit on a little Mahano chassis, which strangely enough runs really well over points, much better than the Hornby 040s. So that's going to make me a little 1 1/35. I'm doing 1 1/35 because I found some really good figures, and I wanted to make something completely scratch built. Although I'm going to try and get Doug to 3D print the metalwork, because that hinge alone had 10 pieces on it, and I've got to do 8 of them. But there you go. Always something on the go, from one extreme to the other, N to 1 1/35. So 2 millimetres to a foot to 8 millimetres to a foot. 4 times bigger. Got nowhere to put a layout though. I've got a sneaking idea where I might fit a very small one in the shed. We will see. So thank you as always for watching, and more updates out soon.